ch4. Princess power. // Derricka Tendi POV. Forward, duck, dip, sweep, retreat, jab, feint, high kick.
Damn it, I hissed under my breath. Not bad, Nate laughed, holding my foot inches from my face, before sweeping me off his feet, dropping me on my back. You should join the bear pack, security would be happy to have you as a reserve. He offered his hand, I took it and hopped onto my feet. I'm a little busy with all my duties, I mutter, dusting myself off. I wanted to gain my lieutenant rank as quickly as possible and get out of here. Is that what you call pulling half the men and some of the women on the ship by the nose? He teased. I gave a dramatic gasp. Me, how dare you? I flipped my hair. As one of the few cadets the ship had ran over with a warm towel. It's called leading, maybe you heard of it. I wiped my face and neck, tossing the towel back at the cadet's face. Wow, the boy muttered, walking away in a daze. That's a word for it. He smirked. What would you call it? A flirt. You're one to talk. Don't think I haven't seen your little group of followers. I pointed out his little group of women. And the cyborg boy. Those are called friends. He looked back at me in shock, before cupping my face. Holy Q, Derricka, please tell me you have friends. I slapped his hands away. Watch those big meaty claws. And I have plenty of friends. Name one, he huffed. Ah, what's her face, with the bun, and the red eyes, tan, human. He stared at me. That's just sad, eerie, don't shorten my name, I hissed. Eerie, it's been 3 weeks, Devana told me to give you space, so you can get the lay of the land, but clearly, it hasn't been working. Let's get you a best friend, I think you and Becky would be the best of friends. He wrapped his arm around my shoulder and plucked me off the ground. I know you're both badasses and don't like being upstaged, but I feel like if you get to know each other, you'll synergize. Maybe if you're trapped in a desert planet or a cave, seems like a lot to do a go through for a maybe friendship. I muttered, that's the best kind of friendship, next cave mission, you guys can go alone. Nathaniel, Durga called out, causing Nate, the 6-foot, 180-pound man to jump like a spooked cat. Durga, he whimpered, holding me up like a shield. Wow, I looked down at her outfit. I didn't think Vulcans wore stuff like that. I knew my workout uniform was a bit cut to show off a bit of skin, but Durga wasn't playing any games. I would like to inquire whether you might be able to assist me with my stretching exercises. She asked, pushing up her breast. Ah, Nate gulped. I can help. My eyes were locked on her breasts. I did not request your aid. I would appreciate it if you could avoid disrupting my conversation. She glared at me, but I wasn't really focused on her face. She had a nice figure, a real fighter's body. I'm married, Nate gulped. Durga moved forward, trapping me between their hard bodies. She was soft and hard. There is no obligation for her to be cognizant of this. Hey, that's my sister. I hissed through a moan. Durga reached up and covered my mouth, giving me a look that promised pain. Should I desire your perspective, Ensign, I would certainly request it. Therefore, I must respectfully implore you to refrain from further comment. Yes, ma'am, I whimpered. Hey, an annoyed voice broke her spell. Those two belong to me. We looked over to find Devana with her arms crossed in her own gym outfit, her longer hair in a ponytail. Nate was quick to dance around the Vulcan and hide us behind my sister. Ensign Tendi, is there anything with which I might assist you? Durga glared at my sister. I've never seen a Vulcan glare before. I didn't know they could do that. Devana, probably for the first time in my life, sneered at someone. I'm here for my afternoon date followed by our hour of lovemaking. Didn't need to know that. I muttered. I also didn't need to see them either. I swear, every time I run into these guys, they're half naked. Do you not have obligations? Should your relationship hinder your responsibilities, I can relieve you of your position. I bet you would, she snapped her fingers. Nate, husband, rain check, I'm sure Mariner has work for you. I'll help the lieutenant with her. Exercise. Yes, Mom. He plucked me from the ground and placed me on his chest, running out of the gym. Yeah, baby, I teased. He tisked. I never said I was brave. Have you never had an ex who broke your heart? No, I did the heartbreaking. I huffed. Then let me tell you, it doesn't go away. I love Ivana. I would die for her. But Durga was a large part of my life for a long time. She helped make me the man I am today. I love her in a way I can't describe, and it scares me. I looked up at him. He had a worried look on his face, like he saw the future and feared what he saw. I reached up and patted his face. He quirked an eyebrow at me. Humans are weird, males even more so. Love isn't finite, you know. It's okay to love. I know Ivana. She isn't selfish. Just look at Ollie. I think she's just angry at Durga for hurting you and not apologizing, but she can't keep it up forever. She's never been good at keeping grudges. No matter how hard we tried to teach her. He sighed. I'm a wit, and we love hard. You should see my family. We're here. He stopped in front of a holodeck. Yo, Nate. We turned to an Andorian. Hey, Jen. Waiting for the holodeck. Nah, the captain wants Marina up in her office. Something to do with her job. Nate smirked. And you just happened to be there. The Andorian narrowed her eyes. What are you insinuating, wit? She hissed. Me, he gasped. Nothing, other than the fact that you don't have bridge duty in today's Marina's heavy workout. You got something to say. Just ask her out. Ramsey is way too cocky and thinks just because she's a commander she has first dibs. He shook his head. Nah, first come, first serve. She hates me, and to be honest, I kinda hate her. Ah, Nate nodded. More of a enemies with benefits kind of thing. No shame here. Just know the longer you wait, the closer Ramsey gets. The doors opened to a sweaty Marina and Ollie. Oh, hey, what are you guys doing here? Ollie asked. Ever since the pack lead's attack, she's gained a white streak of hair on her head. It looked nice. I came to drop off Erie on a play date with Becky. I'm trying to make her friends. I slapped him on the chest. She's shy. By the great mother, you're the worst. I hissed. I'm just here to tell Marina that the captain wants to see her. Jen huffed, giving Marina a pad. She also wanted to see you sweaty and in booty shorts. Nate teased, getting a proper elbow from the Andorian, only to get the man to laugh. Ignore him, Jen huffed and walked away. Becky also likes seeing you in booty shorts. Nate called out. I can't tell you anything, Marina hissed, punching him on the shoulder. I love you too much not to play wingman. That and Rutherford have been going steady with Barnes, so I can't tease him as much. You've been bored without Boimler. Ollie huffed. We just got to proper sword fighting and he ran off. He huffed. By the time he gets back, we're going to have to relearn the basics. Are you going to put me down? I crossed my arms. Nah, you and Ivana have that cute pout. Make it fun to tease you. Ollie, hit this man with a lightning bolt. I ordered. Ollie shrugged. He's right, you tendies have an adorable pout. You really think Boimler's coming back? Marina scoffed. No doubt, Boimler has that Picard in him. He loves exploring and researching with a little bit of action. Riker's 90% action, 5% exploring, and 5% other. He'll be back. I got a bet going with Rutherford. 2 more weeks and he has to grow a pencil moustache. Lonely, Marina teased, rubbing Nate's new fuzzy face. Tendy's been hiding my razors. You could just replicate more, Ollie pointed out, leading us toward our room to get changed. And suffer her big watery eyes. Not on your life, he scoffed. Ivana always did have that innocent look. I could never pull it off myself. You coward, Marina teased, reading over the pad. I know my weakness, he huffed, reaching his room. Before, the married suites were crazy. They were large and could fit an entire family. Now, someone was playing the system, clearly someone, played with the number, or just forgot to add a wall at some point because clearly this room was stupid big. It reached 2 full interior windows, a private bathroom, Kitchen, living room, dining room, study nook, library shelves, and it was covered in adventuring trophies they gained from away missions. Nate finally put me down, got a fresh uniform from their private replicator, and walked into the bathroom. They had to have stolen it. It was stupidly unfair. "Becky, don't forget we have to put up our latest trophies," Nate called out, gesturing to the pile of junk in the corner as the bathroom doors closed. "Ugh," Mariner groaned. "I don't even know why he kept half this stuff." "I don't know." I held up some kind of mask with gold carvings. "Some of this stuff can be worth a pretty bar of latinum." She rolled her eyes. "What good is latinum in the Federation? We're going to run out of space for this stuff. We could donate it to a museum," Ollie answered, her breasts freed from her sports bra. "Sometimes I really envy Divana." Ollie was. "Something." "To whom?" Mariner scoffed, also taking off her bra. "Half the time it's just some collector acting like a museum. I'm sure Starfleet has something for this." A nude Ollie sighed. "I mean, this can't be the first time Starfleet officers have a bunch of stuff they don't need." "Maybe, most of it is usually dumped in a matter recycler. Unless the gift is a cultural thing, they don't care," she answered, putting on her pants without her underwear. "Commando," Ollie teased. Mariner rolled her eyes. "A meeting is hardly worth the time. Besides," she gestured to her crotch, "smooth, but still hugs my bum. Whatever you say, you perv." I smirked, my eyes glued to her rump. "My eyes are up here," she teased. "I know where they are. You know, I wanna say you took all of Divana's perviness, but I know better." Ollie smirked. "You tenders may have the looks of an angel, but you have the drive of a satyr. Becky, you're just a wild animal." "Hey," she huffed. "I have the bites to prove it." She pointed to a fading bruise on her neck. "Poor Amina, you mauled the woman." "It was a tiny love bite," Mariner growled, putting on her shirt. "Nate had to wheel her around on a hover chair for a week." Ollie counted, putting on her boots. "That was you. I thought she had a training accident," I muttered, finishing getting dressed. "Oh, it was an accident. I told you not to do that flip." "I had it, let me guess, the flip," Nate teased, walking out of the bathroom fully dressed. "I should thank you. I got to know our new commander and learned you used to have braces. Super cute." He helped Mariner with her ponytail. "Shut your mouth," Mariner hissed. "Never. I'm going to bribe the captain to get me a picture of you so I can place it on the wall." He pointed to the wall filled with pictures of the crew out on missions. "No one will find your body," she warned. "As long as you don't do what you did to poor Amina, I think I'll be okay." I had it. "Of course you did, honey." Ollie kissed her on the cheek, before shaking her head at me. "I can still see you," she huffed. "I know," Ollie sighed. "You want me to go with you to the meeting?" Nate asked. "Nah," Mariner muttered. "Probably just a quick meeting about our mission on Apagos. Can you get the sonic cleaners ready?" "I got ya." He walked out of the room. I watched Nate leave, before looking back at Mariner. "So, what's going on there?" I asked, putting on the final touches to my makeup. "Going on where?" Mariner asked, checking herself in the mirror, nodding at her hair. "Maybe I should go with the fro next time. You and Nate, you guys banging. I know he and Divana have the whole open relationship thing going, or is that just Ollie?" I asked. Mariner gave me a wide-eyed look. I mean, no, we're just friends." I quirked an eyebrow. "Friends who sleep together. Well, it's not anything sexual, just stuff happened, and Nate and Divana were there to help, and before I knew it." She gestured to the room. "This became my life." The bed was a major improvement, Ollie added. "It did help." Mariner smiled. "So, you're not their lover?" No, she thought about it. "No, but he helped you get dressed. For a male to do that in Iran, it means you are closer than friends." "Really? Sorry, we don't know much about Iran culture. Divana and Nate sometimes teach us things, but I think it's just second nature." "He also helps Divana with her hair. I thought it was just something he liked to do." He has thousands of cousins, most of them are women. All of them women, now that I think about it. She played with her hair. Is it really that special? I shrugged. It's nothing crazy, we do have barbers, but it's a way to show others that you're close, usually romantic. Should I make him stop? Nah, if Devana doesn't care then it should be fine. I waved away her worry. There was a chance Devana was playing the long game with her. Devana does my hair all the time. Ollie nodded. She's been having me grow it out. I nodded. I would need a good grip too. Marina started coughing. Grip. Ollie blushed. You know, for the bedroom. I quirked an eyebrow. Haven't you seen Nate's bruises? They blinked at each other for a second. I thought he got those from training. Ollie muttered. Nope. Devana has been marking her territory. Durga. Marina sighed. Can't they just bone and get it over with? Durga can't steal Nate anymore. She works here. I shook my head. Durga and Devana is too headstrong. They would clash on everything. One of them has to bend. And Devana owns Nate. She won't give him up. Own is a bit much. Marina muttered. Is it? I asked. Every time I see them together, Nate follows her like a loyal hound. She gestures. He does. She commands. He accomplishes. They act like my parents. Is it pheromones? Ollie asked. Hey now, I huffed. Yeah, you can't believe in that stuff. Marina agreed. Everyone knows it was just made up so Kirk wouldn't look bad. Oh no, pheromones are real, but it was never in our family. Devana's always been beautiful. People happily drop to her feet just to be kicked away. Whoa, Ollie muttered. Devana Tendi, Devana. The adorable medical officer who can't eat replicated fish because she saw their faces once. Starfleet has softened her. I'm almost grateful to Durga. Devana has regained her sharp blare. Devana Law, Ollie whispered. Has she really not told you any of this? I would have never imagined Devana would hide such a big part of her life. I mean, Nick knows. I'm not sure how much, but he doesn't really care. All I know is that Nate called her the mistress of the winter constellations, and other than that amazing title, I couldn't find much about it. Not surprising, Orions aren't exactly friends with the Federation. I hummed. Mistress of the Winter Constellations is a title given to the eldest daughter of the Tendi clan, trained to become the clan's deadliest assassin and prime. They are not always so famous, but Devana was something else. You wouldn't know you were hit until she was long gone with all your stuff. And may the Mother Goddess take pity on your soul if you were ever on her hit list. Like a ghost in the night. So cool, Ollie whispered. And she became a medical officer. Marina asked. A flash of a tired Devana crossed my mind, back in our secret clubhouse. That she couldn't do it anymore, that she was running away, that I should go with her. The hurt look when I ran away from her. And then the smile she had when she greeted me in the shuttle. She always loved science, space, and exploring. She never liked hurting people. That sounds like her. Marina nodded, gaining a big smile. I'm happy she joined then. Starfleet can be just the place to find yourself, trust me. You're not scared that she's killed people. What makes you think I haven't? She walked out of the room. Marina Law, Ollie hissed. Why do all my lovers have cool hidden backstories? She looked over at me. Do you have a cool backstory? I smirked at her and popped my collar. Wanna find out? She slammed me up against the wall. Mom always said sisters should share. / Devana Tendi Pulo. I circled Durga. Her Vulcan Jiu-Jitsu was rather impressive. Not surprising, most Vulcans tend to put 100% to their goals. I kept my distance. She had a tight guard. Every time I got close she would bat me away. I dashed forward, her stance changing to counter, but I was able to slip past her grip and land a blow to her face only to get a knee to the ribs. I hissed and rolled away before she could double tap. She was faster than Nate and more controlled than Marina. She's also been in combat before, but I got her. The thing about combat is fluidity. You need to know how to bend with the action. I got in close. This time I was ready for her, blocking her knee and slapping away her hard judo chop, which was going to leave a bruise, and got into her guard, slipping my foot between her legs and using my weight to bring her to the ground. Quickly using my position to trap one of her legs and arms with my body, leaving my hands free. Point, Tendi, 5-2, Shax called out. I slowly got up. Mother goddess, I wanted to punch her so bad. Ud technique ensign, ever thought to join the bear pack? Nate asked, but you will have to ask Dr. Tana, she's the only one who can give me leave to join anything outside medical. I answered. He looked nervous, she wouldn't like it, she guards her team with a razor's claw. All right, call it a day ladies, we can do this tomorrow, the next crew needs the arena. A group of people in Anbo Jutsu gear entered the room. Hey Volis, Sulo, I waved at the purple women. Hey, Volis waved back. I liked Volis, she was kind and sporty, I really thought she and Marina would have hit it off. I left her and her sparring partner, Sulo, her fellow Edrant, her skin a slightly darker purple. Are you heading planet side? Met Nate heading to the docks. Sulo asked. Oh, no I looked over to see Durga walking out of the gym in a hurry. Son of A, got to go. I ran after her, only to see her head toward her room. Damn it, I raced to the elevator and headed to my room. I opened my door to a naked Derrika between Ollie's legs. I didn't even slow down, not the first time I'd seen Derrika with one of her lovers. Devana, Ollie gasped, locking her thighs around my sister's head. Hi, I gave a quick wave, grabbing a spare uniform. I can explain, her moan cut her off. Hold on a second, she hissed at Derrika. It's fine, not the first time I've seen Derrika with her ass in the air. I scoffed, I gave my sister a hard spank, getting her to squeak. That's 15 favors, what? She gasped. I didn't even take off my gym clothes. Don't even try and argue, I'm already giving you the family discount. If Nate caught you, it would have been 30. This is okay, Ollie whimpered as Derrika continued. I blinked at her, why wouldn't I be? She's my sister, my mother always taught us to share. And you can't share with Durga. My control slipped for a second, just a moment, my training kicked in. I walked up to her and grabbed her by the hair, making sure she could see my face and only my face. He belongs to me, I growled, tugging just enough to get her to moan. I will not give him away. I nibbled at her lips. You belong to me, say it. Devana, she moaned. I tugged a little harder. Say it, I demanded. I yanked harder. I belong to you. Tiny bolts of lightning danced around her body. The tiny zaps brought me back to reality. I was no longer the mistress of the winter constellations. I was Devana Tendi, Starfleet officer, medical, married. Holding one of my best friends as she twitched in pleasure. I gently placed her head on the bed. Sorry, I gave her a kiss on the lips. Treat her right. I pointed at Derrika. She gave me a thumbs up as I ran out of the room. I had bigger fish to fry. // Beckett Mariner POV. I knocked on my mother's office door. Come, she ordered. Hey, I waved at her. She was fully healed from the pack-led battle. You wanted to meet with me? Yes. Admiral Witt wanted an update to the project. He's been working on placing a group like this on every Kali-class ship in Starfleet. Whoa, we just started 3 weeks ago. She nodded, and in that time we traveled to 3 worlds and 4 alien starbases, and that was just us. There are over 30 other Kali-class ships in Starfleet. I gave a low whistle. Yeah, she smirked. Welcome to my world. Have you been keeping up with your journals? I nodded. Nate and I have been going over them before bed. It's a lot more paperwork than I thought. How are you and Nate handling the workload? Have you thought of adding more people to the group? We thought about it, but we had to keep in mind that we would have to pull people from their duties or off time. With the Cerritos being so small, everyone has a job that needs to be done if we want the ship to run smoothly. I have placed a job posting at the bar, but we've only gotten 1 volunteer and I'm not sure I should accept. Oh, she asked. Durga, I answered. We heard grunting and fighting behind the door as Amina barged into the room. Mission ready, Captain, she saluted. Ransom came up behind her. I'm also mission ready, he growled. These two have been at each other's throats since Amina came aboard. It was one thing for the ship to have a bunch of ensigns, Lieutenant JGS, lieutenants, and even lieutenant commanders, but solid commanders were another thing. There was Dahay, Dr. T, Westlake, and Arjun, but they were never trained in first officer duties. Sure, on paper it was great. The Cerritos had 3 shifts: Alpha, early morning, Beta, afternoon, and Delta, night shift, meaning there could be a leader for each shift, but it didn't work that way in real life. The captain needs a first officer when on deck in case she has to leave the ship. Normally that's Ransom, since he was the only commander with the proper training, but with Amina here, they have been fighting over the first officer position. Normally Amina wouldn't care, but Ransom had beta shift like me. She's been trying to match shifts with me so we could link up our sleeping schedules. She's been stuck in alpha shift with Billups, so we've only been able to do quickies in her room, and let me tell you, I wasn't going to make love in a cubby anymore. I wanted to do it in my room, but Nate's threat hung over my head. I couldn't afford 30 favors, I was still 6 in debt, and they were stingy on using them. Good, Ramsey, Ransom, you just have to help the Apagosian High Leader pick his communication codes. Straightforward, nothing to it. Beckett, you and Nate will. She checked her notes. Help clean artwork. The capital city is filthy. The locals have neglected to clean up their waste after their industrial revolution. I thought a little cleaning would inspire some of them to start fixing up the place. Since they're now part of the Federation and gaining replicator tech, I'm sure they'll have plenty of free time to take care of their city. Ma nodded. That's fine, but Ransom is in charge. Yes, he fist-pumped, much to Amina's annoyance. He quickly straightened at the captain's glare. Follow his orders, Ransom. Remember that she might be under your command, but has other duties. Yes, Captain, he saluted. Good, keep it simple. Dismissed. She waved us away. Amina and Ransom raced out of the room. They were like children trying to impress their parents. I think Mom is keeping them like this to get the best work out of them. When I reached the docking bay, I found Nate waving me over, the sonic cleaner next to him, and Rutherford. Rutherford, you're joining us. I thought you had a hot date with Barnes. I teased. I do. He pointed to the trill running around, following Amina's orders. Nate was able to get me on the mission as mechanical help, in case the sonic cleaner goes crazy. Can that happen? I asked. Normally, no, but Starfleet, I finished. Well, pack this stuff up in the second shuttle. Do you find yourself in need of assistance? I turned to find a slightly sweaty Durga with a black eye. Ah, I'm here to help. An equally sweaty Tendi covered in bruises appeared next to her. Ah, I muttered. Tendi just smiled at me. Are you okay? Yep, she smiled. Okay then, not going to dig into that. You got permission from the doc? They looked at each other. Yes, they nodded. Okay, not going to dig into that either. The mission's simple. Clean up the buildings around the main plaza and help stop Ransom and Amina from optimizing the rest of the mission. I looked over at the 2 commanders glaring at each other and yelling at my fellow ensigns. How did I become the most responsible person on this mission? I looked over at a nervous Nate being sandwiched between a Hansi Vulcan, an oxymoron if I ever heard of one, and his adorably angry wife. I looked over at Rutherford for some help, but he was too busy talking with Barnes. Great, first Boimler, now Sam. //. Apagos was pretty, but you could see the wear and tear all the pollution did to the city, everything having a thick layer of grime. All right people, let's get to work. Tendi, Durga, left and right buildings, respectfully. Best keep them apart. Nate helped me get the sonic cleaner, Rutherford. I looked back to the cyborg who was flirting with Barnes. I never remembered him being so outgoing. To be fair, part of his brain was pulled from his head. Changes shouldn't be too crazy. Rutherford, stay with the backup and help with the rest of the mission. He gave me a thumbs up, before saying something to Barnes, getting her to giggle. You taste that? Nate asked. passing me a cleaner. I gave the air a taste. No, while the city was a little grimy, the air was clean. Sorry, he smacked his lips and licked his teeth. Getting a weird tingle, ready to pretty up a city. Lower decks, I cheered, holding my cleaner up with pride. He smirked. Lower decks, you guys need a little help. Amina came racing over. Ah, I'll help, she ran after Durga. I'll help better. Ransom ran over to Tendi. I looked back to the Apagosian High Leader, surrounded by his advisors, probably helping pick a call number. Some species had a weird thing with numbers. Your girlfriend's still trying to steal Ransom's job. Nate smirked. She's not my girlfriend, I huffed. Oh, he teased. So, the lone dinners, the giggling, the hand-holding, the nicknames. The hickeys. I playfully slapped him on the shoulder. Don't notice embarrassing things, and there's the adorable Mariner pout that gets me up in the morning. He laughed. You're the worst, whatever it takes to get the blush and pout. Why do you think I did those shirtless push-ups with Amina on my back? You were jealous all day, pouting and blaring at me. He bumped my hips. How did you guys even become friends? The flip, he teased. I just sighed. That's going to haunt me for years. Besides, you're my best friend. Why wouldn't I be friends with your friends? That way it wouldn't be awkward if we hung out. He started blasting the dirt from a nearby wall, revealing a mural of some kind of space whale. The others helped clean up more of the wall. Whoa, one of the locals gasped in awe at the art. I didn't know the ancients did all this. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, keep your cities clean, beauty on every corner. I cheered. Can anyone join Starfleet? Another local called out. You would have to go to the academy for a few years, but you'll be exploring the galaxy in no time. I answered. They started talking with each other in muttered excitement. Nate grunted. What's up? I asked. My teeth are vibrating. He clicked his R-tongue. You want to see Tendi? I asked. Maybe, it's only gotten worse since we got mine, we heard Amina yell, racing to the last wall in the plaza. No, it's mine. Ransom raced after her, each taking a corner trying to clean the wall first. Nate gave a sharp hiss. Something's wrong, and as if that was the magic words, the whole plaza came to life. Orbs we thought were for decoration came to life, producing what looked like Nate's cosmic energy, clouds forming overhead, as winds started pushing us around. What the crap? I hissed. Nate jumped into action. Everyone please leave the area. Starfleet has this under control. A bolt of lightning struck one of the orbs, completing whatever juice was needed to power the strange machinery. The wall lit up for a second, the mural bursting into beautiful glowing colors. Whoa, I whispered, before a massive bolt of rainbow lightning launched out of the orbs, right at me. I didn't even notice as a big meaty hand grabbed me by my uniform and tossed me away, giving me front row seats to Nate being struck in the chest and launched across the plaza into a far wall. Just as quick as the storm appeared, it was gone, leaving a scorched Nate behind. Nate, Tendi cried, running over to him. I jumped to my feet. Rutherford, emergency pack. Sam was quick to grab the first aid kit from the shuttle and carry it to Tendi. Nate, honey, don't scare me like this. Tendi started crying, peeling away the burnt uniform, the synthesized cloth taking a beating, Nate's chest a dark black, lightning scars racing away from his chest. She grabbed my hands and placed them on his burned chest. Pump, she ordered. He was both hot and cold. I couldn't feel his heartbeat. The thing I used as a lullaby, strong and loud, was quiet. I started pumping as Tendi shoved a needle into his neck. His chest was so large, it was like pushing a bed. Come on. I pumped harder, his ribs creaking at my force. Move. Ransom pulled me to the side. Unlike me, he was stronger, his pumps breaking some of his ribs. Not on my watch. A pair of warm arms pulled me into a hug. I looked up to see a worried Amina. It's going to be okay, she whispered. A loud gasp of air and cough nearly threw me off my feet. I turned to see a coughing Nate. Son of a bitch, he hissed. Someone got the number of the starship that hit me. Don't you ever scare me like that again, Tendi hissed, checking his vitals. I'll try, he smirked, before grimacing as he looked down at his chest. That's going to take some time to heal, before he burst into rainbow flames, getting us to jump away in shock. The rainbow faded to reveal a fully healed and confused Nate. There was still a small lightning-shaped scar on his chest. That was new. His clothes turned to ash, leaving him completely nude. He sighed. That's about right. He tried getting up, but Tendi locked him in place, giving him a look I had never seen her give before. No, she hissed. You, sit, she ordered. If you move, if you breathe, if you twitch in any way I don't order. So help me Q. She let the threat hang. Nate slowly nodded and laid back down. Durga, call Dr. Tana. Ransom, take some of the crew and calm the people. Amina, report to the captain. Rutherford, pants. I snapped out orders. Did I stutter? I roared, everyone jumping into action. Tendi, how's Nate? I feel great. Tendi slapped a hand over his mouth. My readings are all over the place. Nate has always had readings of strange energies, but nothing like this. These readings are off the charts. It's like he was supercharged. She answered. Out of the way, Dr. T beamed onto the planet, giving Nate another scan, before gaining a frown. Stay here, she ordered, before walking over to Ransom and whispering something. Ransom looked all kinds of confused, but Doc snapped her fingers in his face and pointed off to the field. He shrugged and walked away. Pants, Rutherford came running over. Thank you. Nate took the pants. He tried getting up, but Tendi held him down. Devana, he held her hands. I'm okay, and it's kinda cold out here. She frowned but let him stand up. Thank you. He stood to his full height. See perfectly fine. A spark of rainbow power flared around his body, and he was wearing a new uniform. Okay, that's new. It's warm. Matter manipulation, Tendi muttered. Curious, Durga hummed. Is that bad? I asked. It's an escalation, Nate answered, fear lacing his voice. I know my Auntie Vluce had this ability, but it would take her a week to make a full uniform, and it took her years to learn. So it's a good thing. I nodded. No, Nate muttered, slowly getting back on the ground and not moving. I have no control. I didn't even think of a uniform, it just appeared. It's happening without any input. My powers are working on their own. Tendi, how bad is this? It could pass. We just have to wait for his body to burn off the excess energy. She kept scanning him. Her uniform morphed into a skin-tight assassin combat suit with a lab coat and golden ring around her finger. It even had a boob window. Whoa, Amina and I muttered. We locked in. Nate, she huffed, taking a step back, her uniform returning to normal. Curious, Durga took a step forward, her uniform morphing into some kind of sexy warrior monk, a similar ring on her finger. It appears you possess a somewhat passive energy barrier that alters the reality surrounding you. She looked at her new ring. She took a step back, but didn't change. Taking another step, she returned to normal. Ah, that looked like it got bigger. I pointed out. Suddenly I was wearing my rogue outfit I used during my time in the Vancouver. Guys, we turned to Rutherford wearing some kind of wizard robe. Nate's invisible barrier swept past the plaza, everyone's clothes changing into some kind of fantasy outfit. Oh, no, we turned to Nate, in a princess outfit. Damn it, he had the hips. Suddenly the earth molded around him in the shape of a claw. Ha ha ha, a dragon's face appeared out of the earth, the dirt morphing into red scales. Foolish adventurers, it laughed, escaped the earth. I, Face Muncher, have kidnapped the princess. He stretched out his massive wings and took to the air. Guys, Nate cried as he got farther and farther away. What looked like a castle morphed out of a mountainside. Quote ... What just happened? Ransom in a knight's armor walked over. Nate's power is out of control. I answered, everything's becoming fantasy, and he was kidnapped by a dragon. Okay, can anyone reach the Cerritos? My comm turned into a scroll. He looked at the paper in his hand. I took the paper from his hand. It's messenger parchment. Everyone looked at me. I played a game or two. I huffed. I call, with this paper so magical, the Cerritos in orbit. There was a spinning orb on the paper. 2 silvers for long-distance calls. Oh, screw you, I yelled at the paper. I quickly checked my pockets, finding my coin purse. Now I'm happy we robbed that Romulan casino, and placed 2 silver coins in the little slot in the paper. The bridge appeared. Beckett, Ma called out, what the hell is going on down there? I've been calling but no one is picking up. The doc, in white mage robes, took the parchment from my hands. Ensign Wit is overclocked with strange energies, changing the world around us. I thought I did my 5 years. Ma groaned. Why is everything changing? I'm unsure, but it's probably subconscious. Dr. T answered. Nate does these adventures in the holodeck for his younger siblings, and occasionally for my heavy workouts. I called out. What's going to happen? She asked. I just shrugged. Anything can happen. That's the point of the adventure. We have to work together to solve puzzles, fight bad guys, defeat the dragon, and save the princess. She sighed again. How do we handle this? Big rock, the doc answered. Dr. Dola Witt went into great detail about how nature siphons strange energies from the galaxy around us, believing it was the spark that helped create life. So, we just have to squish him with a large rock. Please don't squish my husband with a rock, Tendi called out. Don't worry, I'm sure Nate can take it. Are we just going to carry a big rock? I asked. No need, Rutherford called out. Moving his hands in the air, a slab of rock popped out of the ground. We have magic. The whole place is filled with strange energies. Dr. T answered. Wit must be flooding the place with uncontrolled energy. She snapped her fingers. A bead of light floated in the air. Apagosians had this power. Why not use it? I don't think it used to be that powerful, Tendi called out, pointing to the glowing murals that were now moving. I think they were able to harness weak levels of strange energy, but their industrial revolution must have blown it out of the water. She's right, Rutherford called out, his oculus looking all fantasy-like, made of rocks and vines. He was scanning the orbs and walls. They're almost like geothermal batteries, storing more and more energy the less they were used. Did we cause this? I asked. This was the last thing I wanted to do. Yes, Rutherford nodded, but it was for the best. Who knows what could have happened if the energy kept building? This entire city could have gone up in smoke, or worse, strange energy is a mixed bag at best. I nodded. All right, so, defeat Face Muncher, Big Rock, save Nate. Simple. .. I really need to stop saying that. Nothing was simple. It's never simple. The first problem we ran into was magical weapons, as in, we didn't have any. Dragons like Face Muncher were immune to normal damage, so we had to go on a small quest to gain magical tools, and like the holodeck running Nate's program, there happened to be a random Vulcan blacksmith around the corner in a workshop that didn't exist 10 minutes ago, and had us go to a nearby cave to mine glowing ore to make into weapons. Of course, the cave was filled with slime monsters that were immune to blades, so we had to punch them to death. Turned out the ore were the slime cores. To say some of our armor was unconventional would be an understatement, but I wasn't going to complain about seeing Amina in bikini armor. I'm going to have to replicate it when we get back to the Cerritos. With our new magical gear, we headed to Face Muncher's castle, only to run into a bunch of crazy dragon cultists acting as bandits, mugging people on the road. Being Starfleet, we didn't let that slide, which led to a whole sea adventure for some reason. After a few hours and having to seduce mermaids, we made it to Face Muncher's castle, which only looked worse up close. There was a constant rainstorm overhead drenching us from head to toe. This better not rust, Amina hissed, checking on her armor. It's magic. Magic things don't rust. I scoffed. And you know that. How? She asked. I shrugged. I may have read the rule book. She gasped. You nerd. Nate put a stupid puzzle in my way once. I needed to read the rules to get past it. I excused. How come you reading the rules makes you sexier? She teased. Shut up, that's how. She giggled. If you're done flirting, Dr. T scoffed, taking the lead, opening the door to a grand ostentatious parlor room with a large spiral staircase leading all the way to the top of the tower, and red carpet everywhere. There was even carpet on top of carpet. Everything that wasn't carpet was covered with enough latium to give a Ferengi a heart attack. Everything had some kind of glowing rune, probably because Nate had to be in the building. The longer he was here, the more the world changed. Well, look what the soaking wet cat dragged in. A beautiful human woman in a red cloak and a black three-piece suit laughed from the top of the staircase, a tied-up Nate on a dolly next to her. Hey guys, please save me, Nate cried. The woman covered his mouth. Silence, slave wife, you do not speak, she glared back at us. Normally I would crush you and dance on your blood, but it's my wedding night. She gave a nasty smirk. And I have a princess to deflower. What does that mean? Nate whimpered. She didn't answer and dragged the dolly up the stairs. Guys, he belongs to me. Tendi launched a dagger from her sleeve, but the woman's cape came to life and slapped the blade away, revealing it wasn't a cape at all, it was her wings. Face muncher. Vermin, she hissed, snapping her fingers, causing dozens of armor sets around the room to come to life and attack us. Tendi and Durga blitzed past them and attacked Face Muncher directly, only to be slapped away. Pathetic. She unleashed a fireball, forcing the duo to retreat. She spread her wings and flew into the air. Nate wrapped around her tail and shattered the staircase. I'll return in 20 minutes. 30 if things get spicy. She took off up the castle. Guys, Nate screamed. Devana and Durga racing after them. This was a fantasy world. The rule of cool was king here. The missing staircase didn't slow them down. Monks were superhuman mortals, so jumping to the next floor was a simple task for Durga. Tendi wasn't far behind. Being a healer, assassin Muli class gravity is more of an idea than a fact, proven as she ran up the wall to the next level. Rutherford, Mariner, go after them, Amina ordered, cutting apart an armor. We'll catch up. I didn't need to be told twice. We broke off and raced to the stairs. With a bit of magic, Rutherford lifted part of the floor like an elevator and launched us up. Tendi and Durga hopped on after finding out that we were going faster than them. It took us a second, but we were able to reach the top floor, bypassing the dozens of traps layering the stairs. Busting into the room, we were met with a half-naked Nate chained to a large bed. You guys, he cheered. Face Muncher hissed at us. Don't you know when you're not wanted? Get away from my husband, you bitch. Tendi growled. Face Muncher began to transform, growing larger than the room, shattering the roof. Oh damn, I muttered. Die. She unleashed a stream of fire, slamming into Rutherford's magical shield. The second the fire stopped, Durga and Tendi burst into action. They might be at each other's throats, but they worked damn good, jumping around the room and attacking or drawing attention, allowing the other to strike. Mariner, Rutherford waved me over to Nate. Why aren't you doing anything? I yelled at Nate. I can't. I tried escaping, but my powers are acting without my input. You've seen Face Muncher? They were never supposed to transform into a human shape. They were supposed to be a one-dimensional villain, but now they have different powers, living armor, decorative taste. Who knows what else might happen if I start moving? He answered, Don't worry, we have a big rock. Rutherford started levitating a piece of the wall over to us, but Face Muncher spotted us and destroyed it. Luckily they'd left her open, Tendi stabbing a blade into her neck, followed by Durga punching it deeper into her body. Drenching them in blood, of course, a dragon had a lot of blood. Face Muncher turned and attacked them, giving me and Rutherford some space to work. What are you guys doing? Nate asked. We're trying to squish you with a rock, I asked. He shook his head. That's not going to work. This whole place is saturated with energy. It needs to be pure earth. And I'm not sure that would do anything. Face Muncher has been siphoning my power since she captured me. Even if you did remove the power from me, she might stick around. Then what do we do? Rutherford asked. He blinked, before snapping his chain, which morphed into wood, then gold, then silver. We play the game. If my mind is creating the world, then by win it should all come to an end. Okay, but... He tapped me on the forehead. I cast polymorph. Suddenly he barfed up a rainbow, but I was too busy becoming something more to care. The room got smaller and smaller before I finally matched Face Muncher in height. Oh shit, I was a dragon, and I knew a dragon's greatest weakness. I bit her in the stomach, our soft underbelly. It quickly became apparent that this room wasn't big enough for our fight as we tumbled into the open air. Having wings was strange, but flying was amazing. It was pure freedom, or at least it was before Face Muncher slammed into me. Only room for one. She spit fire into my face. It was hot but didn't burn. Screw you. I bit her on the throat and jerked us to the ground, I slamming her into the ground at full force. I should have let go and pulled up because something was definitely broken when we hit the ground. You won't take what's mine, she whimpered, slowly getting to her feet. He doesn't belong to you, he's mine. Whoa, dragon brain. I'll kill you, I'll kill everything you love, everything you care for, will burn. She unleashed another burst of flames. Like before, it didn't burn, at least not at first. After a second the fire turned blue, and I could feel my scales melting. I clawed her in the face before unleashing my own breath attack, which turned out to be a beam of lightning. Normally, it wouldn't have done much damage, but she still had Tendy's dagger in her throat, giving me direct access to her body. Her body convulsing as my lightning caused havoc to her nervous system. I didn't stop until I ran out of breath. The nasty smell of burnt dragon meat floated in the air. Mariner, I turned, finding Amina and the rest of the crew racing out of the castle, Nate in his dolly being wheeled by Tendy. I reached down and nuzzled my head against her body. She smelled great. Rock, Nate called out. I don't know if it was my lizard brain or just the power coursing through my body, but I just sat on him. Q, he wheezed as I slammed him into the ground. Some was happening, my tummy started growling, and I started to shrink until I returned to normal, straddling an unconscious Nate. The world around us returned to normal. Well, some of it. The castle was still there. A deep growling hiss came from the downed dragon. Q, damn it, how tough is this bitch? I will return. She faded into a rainbow mist. Yeah, well, I'll be here to kick your ass when you do. Then all the power left me as I slumped onto Nate's chest, his strong thumping heart singing me to sleep. // Commander Amina Ramsey POV. Paperwork was a bitch, not the first time Starfleet ran into strange energy, but it was still rare enough that they want a very detailed report. I was halfway to my room before I ran at Divana. I don't know if it was just the tiredness or just not wanting to sleep in a cubby, but I ended up in her bed, Becky and Ollie nuzzling into my sides, as Tendy cared for Nate in the sick bay. It was nice of her to give me the night. Or cruel, because after the night I was ready to fight to the death to stay. My back for the first time in 3 weeks didn't cry out in pain as I got up in the morning. I didn't have to run down to the cafeteria for breakfast or to the bathroom. The halls were clear of people, so getting to the bridge was easy. I should get married. Commander, Durga nodded to me as I came by the sick bay. Durga, I nodded. I didn't need to be here, but as a captain, I used to check up on the sick bay after missions in any ship I was subbing for. Old habits die hard, I guess. Any luck with your future sister wife? I teased. There was no way Tendy was going to give up Nate. We're going to have to go with plan B. Not well. Ensign Tendy perceives me as a potential threat, she answered. Maybe calling her by her name would help. I smiled. She blinked blankly at me. I blinked back. Maybe some hobbies, I asked. She excels in the art of combat. She nodded. That's good, but maybe a non-contact activity. The last thing we need is for one of you to end up in sick bay. How about science? According to Nate, she would be a great science officer, but her self-doubt is the only thing stopping her from applying. I might inquire of Dr. Tana whether she would be inclined to grant her assistance, as it has come to my attention that she possesses a particular fondness for Ensign Tendi. I quirked an eyebrow. How can you tell? The doc seems to hate everyone. Other than Shax, I mean. She still yells at him, but with love. Somehow, she admonishes her yet still assigns her responsibilities. For any away mission with an available position, she delegates Ensign Tendi. There exists a trust that eludes some of the other officers. Like a mentor. She nodded. It would seem. It's worth a chance. I shrugged. Not the first person who changed professions. There's a good chance she'll just double up. I walked into the sick bay, and a few people were getting checked for strange energies from yesterday's mission. Roger Witt was a clear example of how subtle strange energy could affect the body. I found Nate strapped to his bed being forcefully fed by Devana. Devana, honey, I'm okay. Dr. T already gave me a clean bill of health. Nate smiled through a mouthful of chicken. But what if you can't control your powers? She shoved more food in his mouth. Then all the better to be outside the sick bay. Besides, I'm pretty sure Dr. T is 30 seconds away from just kicking us out. Not only that, you've also been on shift for over 24 hours. You need to get some rest. I don't need rest, she yawned like a kitten being shoved awake by one of its siblings. Devana, don't make me snap my restraints. He huffed, because I will. He's right, you know. I teased. As your commander, it's good to see you care for your fellow officers, but as your friend it worries you that you haven't gotten any rest. Commander, I would salute but my wife likes her leather. He rattled his restraints. Devana slapped his chest, much to his amusement. Commander, she saluted. Durga, she frowned. Oof, at least she's on a first-name basis. You don't have to salute me here, Devana. I learned long ago that the sick bay belongs to medical. I'm just visiting. I teased. How's the big lug? Fine, Nate answered. We're still running some tests. We have no idea how the energies have affected his body. Devana answered. I thought Beckett got the rest of it out after sitting on your face. Jealous, Nate teased. I scoffed. Please, my face is molded on her rump. Oh, I just learned you slept in my room last night. Something you want to brag about. He quirked an eyebrow. Gasp. Ensign Witt, are you insinuating something? Only if I need to make new sheets. He smirked. Well, you don't have to worry about that. I just clonked out yesterday. Paperwork was a bitch. Nate clicked his teeth. Did you want me to do naughty things on your bed, your perv? I teased. 30 favors can go a long way. He smiled. Like what? Well, for starters, bumping up my request for a pool table in the break room. That's been floating in the request board for a couple of weeks. He sighed. That's never going to happen. This crew has a habit of causing chaos every time you're left alone for more than 30 minutes. I huffed. That's not true. We got a dart. Nurse Westlake wheeled in an ensign with a dart in his shoulder. That proves nothing. Leg. Another nurse wheeled in another crew member with a dart in their leg. Quote ... Coincidence. But, came in another crew member with a dart in her butt. Come on you guys, I'm trying to make a point. Nate huffed. We are never going to get a pool table with this nonsense. Sorry, they whined. Quote ... They're spirited, he excused. I shook my head. You're never going to get that pool table. Becky owes me 3 favors. You said you liked her in an afro, right? Maybe a skirt uniform. You bastard. I narrowed my eyes at him. Nothing is sexier than Becky in an afro. I will get that pool table. You wanna play that game, Wit? I reached out to Durga's uniform and popped the collar, revealing her cleavage. Nate's eyes nearly jumped out of his skull at how hard he was staring at her. Enough. Devana shut his eyes. I can't have you messing with my patients. She glared at Durga. Am I distracting? Durga cupped her breast as Devana. Holy Q, she just took that shot. Devana just rolled her eyes and marched up to the Vulcan, grabbing her collar and covering her up, whispering something in Durga's ear that left the Vulcan a bit flustered, which I found crazy. Now get out. She started pushing us out. But, I said out, she booted us out of the room. What did she say to you? I asked. That if I tried that again, that I should get used to the feeling of leather. Oh, so, a step forward. / Ollie POV. Ugh, I tossed the pad away. 3 hours into Orion culture study and I still had nothing. What's wrong? Derika's cool fingers traced up my tummy. Why do research when I have an Orion right here? What did it mean when Devana said I belong to her? She blinked up at me. Wow, I'm going to have a word with Devana. She sighed. I'm not sure if humans have a word for it, but it's kinda like her personal lover. A concubine, I asked. Maybe, I would have to look up the word, but in simple terms, you belong to her. If you want a lover outside your relationship with her, you will need her permission. And if I don't, she smirked at me, she'll put you in your place. Oh, I did beg, didn't I? Is that why she got so angry with me? She wasn't angry, she shook her head. Trust me, you would know if she's angry. She was reminding you that she's on top and warning me that you belong to her. She kissed my tummy, and to treat you right. Oh, I teased, one more round couldn't hurt. Hey, Nate walked into the room, cutting my fun time. He quirked an eyebrow at our nude bodies for a second before going back to his pad. Nathaniel, are you fully engaged in the matter at hand? A voice came from his pad. Yes, I'm still here, Grant Evelus. He smiled at the pad. Just, racking in some favors. I am currently engaged in a collaborative mission on behalf of Starfleet in conjunction with the Vulcan High Command. However, upon the completion of this endeavor, I shall assist you in mastering your burgeoning abilities. Thank you, Grant Evelus. I'll be happy to see you. I'm guessing you won't be at the party. Incorrect. The ship I am on will make a pit stop at Starbase 25, but I'm sure my mission here will be finished before then. She answered. That's great, we should be there. Love you. I care deeply for you as well, nephew. The pad turned off. Family, right, 30 favors, each, he smirked. What? I yelled. This is my room, say that to the sign outside. He teased. Come on, I quirked an eyebrow. Is there anything I can do to lower the number? I revealed my naked thigh. He quirked an eyebrow. Well, if you put it like that. / Careful with that stuff, Nate called out, helping me carry useless junk from a dead collector's base. This was not what I meant. I hissed at him. It was either you or Jet, and you know how Mariner gets when someone she doesn't know challenges her lead. He smirked. Yeah, she gets all pouty. I teased. I'm right here, Mariner huffed, moving a statue. There's the pout, Rutherford laughed. Come on, Mariner hissed. It's not easy being cute. Devana sighed, patting Mariner on the shoulder. Are you done yapping? The tentacle alien huffed. Chairman Siggy, Nate glared at the smaller alien. I understand you want this stuff packed away, but you will not order my team around. We are here as a favor to the Collection Guild. If I believe you are putting us in danger or skipping protocol, I will call off this mission. This is a kindness, not a duty. Do I make myself clear? Siggy tisked and walked away. Whatever. Most of this stuff looked old, but that's the thing about collectors. Everything looked old. Half this stuff was replicated, and the other half was damaged to the point of being worthless to most museums. It didn't make much sense to me. Being part of the Federation since I was born, money never made sense. Just create replicators. After that, it's nothing but creating things and having fun. Where is this stuff even going? Rutherford asked. That's none of your business. Siggy hissed. He's right. Our job is to pack up the stuff and remove them from the base. Nate muttered. Collector bases are death traps. The last thing we want is for some innocent person to walk in here and get hurt. Can't the Collectors Guild do this? Mariner groaned, putting some stuff into a crate. No, trust me, my cousin Soso is part of the guild. They would rush the place trying to rob it clean. probably activating every trap in the base and causing this place to go supernova or whatever. Nate sighed, hammering a crate close before the Cerritos transporter beamed the crate away. We're just packing up the cheap things. The guild will disarm the real threats, or at least hire someone stupid enough to try. You have family in the Collectors Guild? Devana asked. A few. They work as retrievers. She goes out into the galaxy on behalf of a species to recover stolen or lost artifacts. Half the time it comes for other collector bases. He muttered, I didn't know collectors had special jobs. Rutherford huffed, dragging a large statue into a crate. They don't, Nate answered. Just about everyone in the Collectors Guild hate each other. They just stick together to look more threatening than they really are, but the second they get the chance they'll. A red alert cut him off. Screw each other over. He glared at Siggy, who was making it his job not to look at anyone. A large painting of the dead owner came to life. If you're seeing this holo message, it means I'm dead and you're trying to steal from my precious collection. Quote, we are leaving, Nate hissed. What about the stuff? Siggy cried. You wanted to rob this tomb, then you get to live in it. Cerritos, this is Wit, requesting emergency transfer. Static greeted us. Of course, Mariner hissed. For your greed, you will now be part of my collection. The hologram laughed, its eyes glowing a nasty purple, aiming right at Devana but was saved at the last second by Nate. Siggy was as lucky. It hurts. It her squeak. He turned into a puppet, a helmet falling from his jacket. Carla's sex helmet, Devana hissed. Don't touch anything, he said. Screw this guy. Curse him out later. Nate plucked the puppet from the floor. Orb, Mariner warned as the orb started shooting lasers and the exhibits fell apart trying to kill us. Exit, I pointed to a closing gate. Luckily it was closing at an extra dramatic slowness, making it easy for us to escape as the door shut. We should have beamed this asshole off base the second we got here. Nate hissed, gesturing to the doll. Oh man, it's just gallery after gallery. Rutherford hissed, flipping through a scan on the far wall. Mariner took charge, flipping through the ship's room. We need to get to the engine room and disable the defenses. For us to make it out of here, we're gonna have to travel into the belly of the woe. Hey, Nate plucked her from the floor and tossed her over his shoulder. Becky, you know I love it when you take command. Very sexy, but now's not the time. Collector bases are notorious for their self-destruct timers. We need to get out of here, not stop it. Rutherford, exit. Hold on. He flipped through the ship's levels. Oh, escape pods, just a couple of rooms from here. That's the plan. Nate nodded, leading the way down the hall. Can you put me down? Mariner huffed. Will you promise not to do an epic speech that will get us to race to the engine room? I asked. Quote ... Maybe. Hold her tight, Nate. Come on, she whined. // Nate wit POV.
Dodge, I ordered, jumping out of the way of a mechanical arm. This was the third room we passed filled with nonsense. The first room flooded, nearly drowning us. The second room was some kind of disco room filled with break-dancing Borg, and this one was some kind of recycling room. Another arm came at me, but with a bit of cosmic power. I broke the claw in a single swing only to get hit with a case of vertigo. I still had no control of my new power and using too much threw me out of whack. Nate, Becky held me up. I'm okay, just a bit dizzy. I smiled. Another alarm sounded as some kind of compactor opened. Inorganic matter compactor. Devana panicked, Siggy nearly slipping through my fingers. Rutherford. I looked up to see my friend being dragged across the room by his Oculus. Funneling more power into my limbs, I jumped forward, catching my friend and digging my hand into the ground, stopping over movement. Sam screamed as his Oculus tried peeling itself from his face. Plug the opening, I ordered. It took a second, but this place hadn't been used since the owner died, so there was plenty of junk around to plug up the compactor. Sam whimpered, fixing his cybernetics in place. You okay? I asked. Why yeah, damn thing. He hissed in anger, probably for the first time I've known him. Are you sure? I said I'm good. Damn. Sorry, didn't know where that came from. He sighed. I patted him on the shoulder. It's okay, I doubt the first time was pleasant, let's not repeat it. Thank you, can we please get out of here? Q willing, we walked into the next room, filled with fossils, and the bones of a giant Spock hanging overhead. Whoa, we whispered. Okay, seems like an easy room. Mariner walked forward, only for Devana to pull her back. Hey, trap, the Orion pointed to the laser crossing the floor. I hate this place, Ollie hissed. It's okay, we'll just step over it. Mariner nodded, only to get pulled back again. Devana, she whined. Pressure plate, she pointed to the plate after the laser trap. I hate this place, Mariner hissed. People with bigger, juicier brains than mine, please find us a way out of here. I asked the group. We can jump it, not you. I picked up Mariner again. Come on, she huffed. Becky, I love you, and I know you can probably solo this entire base, but you need to remember you aren't alone. I nodded to the engineers working with the bones around us. We are a team, and you are our leader. Really, because I've been on your shoulder most of this mission. Because you keep running off ahead, we need you here. My job is to protect you. Rutherford and Ollie is tech, Tendi is medical, and you command. If I have to protect you from yourself, I will. She sighed. Okay, just put me down. I did what she commanded. Thanks, Tendi, Rutherford, Ollie, what you got? Devana led us to a display. Excalbian bones. She smiled. We looked at her for a second. Can you explain it like I'm Ransom? I joked. She rolled her eyes. Excalbian bones break down with enough heat and become a powerful acid, which we could use to cut through the wall paneling, Rutherford added, and access the engineering subconduits, and those run the whole length of the ship. Ollie finished. Honestly, we could have bypassed all this scary stuff by using them from the start. Rutherford smiled. Guys, you need to remember that Becky and I are big slabs of barely functioning meat. Next time, slap us up top the head and point us the right way. I huffed. We promise. Ollie smirked. If I get a lump on my head because of you, I'm sending you back to your cubby. Becky hissed. I grabbed her hand and kissed her fingers. Anything but that. Ollie. Devana held up a bone. Ollie created a tiny stream of lightning which Tendi used to light the bone to a red-hot point. Like cutting glass, she made a large opening to what looked like a tunnel. Okay, the escape pods should be down this way, if that's still the plan. Rutherford asked. It is if you say it is, buddy. Mariner smirked. Stay alert, stay alive. Devana warned in a gruff voice. Oh damn, I muttered. That is one fine woman. Becky teased. Now you know why I keep Ollie around. I smirked. Let's beat feet, ladies. Ollie grabbed a good chunk of our buns before hopping into the tunnel. Did she shock you too? Mariner asked. Yep. Did we hate that? I can't say no. I whispered. We're a bunch of pervs. She sighed. Ladies first. I gestured to the opening. You just want to stare at my ass. She huffed. And, just making sure, she hopped into the tunnel. I quickly followed after her. The tunnel was a little bigger than the Cerritos' Jeffries tubes, so making it to the escape pods happened in minutes instead of the hours it would have taken if we had gone the long way. It didn't take a second after leaving the base that Captain Freeman called us. What the hell is going on? She ordered. I held up Puppet Siggy. Collectors. I answered. I hate the Collectors Guild. She hissed and slumped onto her chair. Drop him off at sick bay. The line went dead, and the Cerritos transport beam picked us up. After a debriefing and dropping off Siggy at sick bay, we hit the bar for some downtime. Drinks, I cheered, placing the tray of drinks between us. Drinks, Becky cheered, downing her first shot. Ah, that's the good shit. Heard you guys had a wild ride on the base. Amina came over and sat next to me. Collectors, I groaned. Ah, Nate, I think you got me the wrong drink. This is a virgin. Rutherford held up his drink. That's course that one's mine. I took the glass from him. Ah, what? Mariner whined, taking a slower drink of her second drink. Get drunk with us. Can't. I sipped at my drink. Even without my powers out of whack. I don't drink alcohol, never had good tolerance, most of my family doesn't. What? I've seen you drink plenty. Becky huffed. No, you've seen me drink fruity liquids, not alcohol. I corrected. Everything I know about you is a lie. She pouted at me. Come on, do you guys really want to see me, Nate Witt, with all my crazy, uncontrollable powers, drunk? I warned. They looked at each other. Well, in a spaceship, I finished. That's not a good idea. Amina nodded. But you can get drunk? Mariner asked. He can, Durga answered, walking over with a drink for Amina and room temperature water with a lemon slice for herself. Lemon, I whispered, she never changed her favorite drink, it helped me greatly when we dated. My new paramour introduced me to the flavor. I blinked. You're dating someone, that's right, Buster, Derrika smirked, grabbing Durga's hip and bumping it against herself. This is my hot piece of Vulcan ass. Derrika, Divana hissed. I had a hollow pit form in my tummy, I held up my drink. To new beginnings, and old friends. I spotted Boimler walking into the bar. Brad, I cheered. I still felt a little empty, but the return of my friend helped. I hopped over the bench and gave him a bear hug. Ah, my bones, he whimpered. You're home early, I still had a week. Rutherford for the win, Sam cheered. Not so fast, I cut him off. Brad, what happened? I got transporter cloned, he wheezed. Ugh, I placed Brad on his feet. How did you guess that? Divana whined. Oh, I don't know, it just seemed like a Boimler thing to happen. Rutherford shrugged. Well, there goes my weekend. I sighed. Don't worry, I'll show you how fun tube maintenance is. Rutherford cheered. Clone me's staying on the Titan, so here I am. Brad sighed. Wow, Becky drawled. If you think you can leave us for the big time only to come crawling back. You would be right about that. She cheered, slapping the seat next to her. Get over here, man, sit down. Only for Amina to take the spot. Better luck next time, Bradwood. She smiled. Like a viper, I teased, she blew me a raspberry. Come on Brad, let's get some more drinks and we'll tell you what's happening on the Cerritos. I patted him on the back. Drinks, Becky cheered. //
Durga of Clan Spock POV. I may have been a bit too hasty in my plan to make Nate jealous. Warm, Ensign Derrika snuggled into my neck. It is nice to have another to sleep with though. I do wish she was slightly bigger, but I can manage, she even had a pleasant smell. I sniffed her neck, she had the same smell Commander Ramsey had when she visited Nate's room. Like Nate, I held her close. Unfortunately, my alarm had other plans. Nya, Derrika hissed, biting into my neck, tangling her limb around mine and locking me in place. Derrika Tendi, we have duties. My only duty is your booty. She snuggled harder, her hands traveling down my back and holding my gluteus maximus. Firm, although your affectionate gesture is valued, it is imperative that we prepare for our respective duties. She squeezed harder, getting a moan to escape my throat. There it is, my rebel Vulcan. I would kindly remind you that this collaboration is solely intended to evoke feelings of jealousy in Nathaniel and Divana. I drawled. Messing with Divana is my sisterly duty, but, she squeezed a bit more, I also get something out of this. She bumped our noses together, before our lips connected, her tongue slipping into my mouth. I allowed her affections, years of loneliness slowed for a moment. I wanted more. She wasn't enough. Not what I truly wanted, only a stopgap, but just for a second, I allowed myself some pleasure. Come on guys, we have work today. Amina stumbled out of the cubby in our shared room. Derrika cupped my hands and placed them on her chest. I don't mind an audience. She moaned as my hands massaged her chest. She was soft and slightly cooler than a normal human. Now I see why Nate charges me for boning in his bed. Fun to do, grueling not to touch. Amina tossed us our uniform. Get dressed, we have a VIP coming in today. Ugh, Derika hissed, leaning down and giving me another kiss before sliding out of my cubby. We need to sneak into Divana's room, these cubbies aren't working for me. She cracked her back. Aren't you already in debt to Nathaniel University? I asked. So, I have nothing to lose. She smiled, getting dressed. Clearly you haven't done any holodeck cleaning, Amina teased. I shivered at the thought, but the 2 pips on my collar brought me relief. I'll never have to do it again. Amina opened the door to Divana. Oh, hi, morning, she smiled, holding a pad. Oh, I don't like that smile, Derika whispered. I have something for my sister. I want to have a date with Nate this afternoon, so I want to cash in a favor. She walked into the room and handed her sister the pad. I want them done by you, or the favor doesn't count. Bye, she walked out, lubing the turbo lift, removing waste from the holodeck, and scraping carbon off the carbon filter. She muttered, "Yeesh," Amina whispered, "those are the worst jobs on the ship, she had to actively go looking for those." I guess, she can also mess with me. How bad are these? She gave a nervous smile. She did look cute, too bad she's going to smell horrible. // Hey,